Welcome to UNCAGED, a show that celebrates thought leadership from today's top business leaders. The program provides a voice to amazing executives from around the globe who are shaping the world of business today and mapping the path to the commerce of tomorrow. Today, we're speaking with Manish Malhotra. Manish, it's great to have you on the show.
It's good to be on the show, Band.
Thank you. So Manish, we are going to be talking a lot about technology and really kind of doing that at scale. Manish is the head of sales for financial services in Europe, Middle East, and Africa for the global leader Infosys in delivering next generation digital services and consulting. So we'll talk a lot about digital services and consulting and what's happening in that space. But before we get there, Manish, tell us a little bit about yourself and your career.
So my current role, Band, is, as you said, my primary business role is I run the financial services sales in EMEA. And apart from that, I have another hat that I wear at Infosys, which is I hold the responsibility for Infosys UK PDC, which is our proximity development center here in the UK. So I co-head that function, which means that right from solving the financial services problems to actually one of the new onboardees coming and saying, hey, I've got a problem with my laptop, all falls into my plate.
Oh, joy.
And Infosys has been home for me for 18 years. This is my 18th year at Infosys. So it's been quite a journey over the years. And actually my journey when I started off prepared me for something like this. So I actually started not in a consulting or a technology firm. My journey started with an engineering firm, a German firm, where I spent the earliest days of my life after doing my master's into sales, into selling the equipments that we were manufacturing, very specialized equipment. That went on until the turn of the century, and that's when I took a pivot to technology and started off with a role in technology services with one of the leading retailers in India, building the first ever e-commerce store in India.
Wow.
And after that, there was no looking back. So I went on to work for two other technology and consulting organizations before the path led me to Infosys.
I mean, that's an amazing story, Manish. And certainly I can see how the experience that you've had has positioned you perfectly to work in the areas that you're focusing on for Infosys. Now, financial services, there's never a dull moment in financial services. And so I imagine that the technology requirements there are pretty broad and scaled. Tell me a little bit about the types of stuff that you're working on right now at Infosys.
So financial services, as you rightly pointed out, is always at the leading edge of the technology. So apart from media and telco, I don't know any other industry who adopt the technology first, or sometimes even develops the technology first. And that keeps all of us on the toes. The COVID has given a complete new direction to the financial services industry. So before COVID, there were banks who were investing, and these are the retail side of the banks who were investing disproportionately into going digital over the last 4 or 5 years. But they were not truly successful in this, and they were facing a lot of churn. The other driver for churn was a lot of digital banks and the challenger banks that had emerged over the period. But I would say that COVID has been a great game leveler for some of the firms, some of the banks who made investments upfront for the last 5 years in their digital transformation, because COVID came completely unannounced, and the banks who had actually put in a lot of effort, thinking, vision, and energy into getting their stack very digital, really got a head start when the COVID hit. They were able to really take on newer customers, challenge the digital and the challenger banks themselves. Not just that, they were able to become profitable and increase the entire economics, not just for themselves but for the entire group during the COVID. And now with COVID in the rearview mirror, I am seeing the other parts of the bank, just like commercial and corporate banking, markets, and others, actually taking a leaf out of that and looking at how they could also invest into going purely digital, into making their business digital to to actually match with their retail peers.
Yeah, and I can see how COVID has played a bit of a catalyst role in perhaps getting companies to embrace the spend that they need to be thinking about. Tell me a little bit, you're in a really interesting place to be working in financial services. London truly being, I'd say, the global center for finance for so many decades. And now we have this moment where Brexit has occurred and things are moving across Europe. Tell me a little bit about that. How have things changed or shifted, or have they changed?
Oh, they have changed dramatically, I would say. And in fact, exponentially. All the if I give you a very simple stats before COVID, and I'm also including 2019 into this. If you look at the average spend, if you just remove the outliers who were actually investing disproportionately into the digital transformation, and if you actually take the bulk of the banks, while they were talking a lot about cloud, but if you actually go a few levels down and look into their books, the entire spend on anything to do with cloud was less than 12 to 15% of their overall spend, right? On transformation, on cloud, on any of the smart computing. Now, fast forward to now, there is barely any tier one banks, even the most conservative ones, who are not putting their money in either a cloud computing or a digital transformation or a transformation. And when I say transformation, while transformation mean different things to different people, for me, transformation is when you truly either change the way you do business or positively impact the way you go to business, right? These are the only three areas where most of the discretionary spend is put by the tier one banks post-COVID. That realization is right up there and starts from the top man in the bank.
Now, I mean, certainly we see this, let's say, overhang from COVID hitting us. I don't know if we want to say it's a recession or kind of some form of a slowdown, but the reality is that we are in a bit of a different economic cycle now. And certainly we've seen the landscape across Europe be hit heavily with the energy costs, et cetera. How is that changing things?
That is, of course, putting a lot of pressure on the discretionary spend. Economics are not rosy at the moment. Given both the bigger macroeconomic drivers. One is the inflation, and UK specifically is facing a bigger burnt of inflation because of Brexit. And on the other hand, we obviously have the war going on, which is putting a dampener not just on the economic scenario, but also some of the locations in Europe that were tipped to be, or that were fast growing as the nearshore locations for providing technology and operation support to the banks. are being downsized or are being critically reviewed, in the shadow of the war. So it is not a rosy picture, but I'm pretty hopeful that that as we actually navigate through the year, things will start to get better and
Yeah.
start to become better.
Yeah, I think that the way that you've outlined the landscape is really interesting because we see a lot of promise, a lot of people investing in, let's say, maybe cut more broad or cutting edge solutions like the cloud services. And certainly, the UK has always been such a fascinating financial market, a lot of innovation there, always kind of coming up with new consumer facing models. And so it'll be interesting to see how it evolves over the near term. But I mean, Manish, when you look out towards the market and think about 2023, what are you excited about? What are the things that really show tremendous promise?
When I look at the market for 2023, what really excites me is from system integrators. So our role in the larger technology and the consulting world is a system integration. We are fast becoming ecosystem integrator. What I mean by that is our roles are not just confided or ring fenced in technology or in ops. Our roles are now reaching into business. So,
Mm,
so we are no longer a business enabler for our clients. We are the ones who work and collaborate with our clients so that they can deliver on their business,
right.
which means putting higher risk, which means putting higher stake on the ground, into, and everything is very outcome centric. Be it be it the be it any of the transformations or the business impact, but it has its serious upside, and it is a very, very exciting opportunity overall, because we get to really and truly transform our clients' businesses.
Yeah, I think you've just phrased it so perfectly, Manish. We certainly saw the benefits of nearshoring, offshoring ideas like systems integration, managing large database systems, et cetera. But you're absolutely right. As the business has become more cloud-based, as we've integrated more APIs to trigger and connect more databases to make it smarter, more actionable, everything that companies like Infosys have been working on are more critical than ever before. And certainly everyone that wants to be a player going forward is going to have to make big investments in this space. Manish, if someone wanted to learn more about what you and your team are working on, where's the best place to reach you?
Well, the best place to reach me is London. Although having said that, I'm mobile at least 16 days every month. I'm on the plane, across Europe, or sometimes even beyond that. But yes, absolutely, my home is London, so feel free to reach out to me at my base location.
Great. And I mean, obviously, you can reach Manish through his LinkedIn profile and other sources. But Manish, it's been amazing to talk with you. We've been speaking with Manish Malhotra. He looks after the financial services space in EMEA for Infosys. He also manages their UK business. So he's, as he said, basically everything from kind of the grand chief to the bottle washer there, as we say. And Manish works for Infosys. Infosys is a global leader in next generation digital services and consulting. The conversation today has really been wonderful in setting kind of the landscape. I think it captured perfectly the change that we've all lived through over the last couple of years, which is there was definitely a real push to get companies to maybe turbo drive their digital transformation and maybe catch up at times, maybe move forward on some innovations to be competitive that they perhaps had slowed down on. But now we're presented in this new landscape where the realities of Brexit are very real and present their own set of new challenges. And literally the economic climate with the war in Europe also challenging us to rethink and think about really critical issues where we always say, oh, well, Eastern Europe, isn't that the place where you all have, your call centers and databases, et cetera? But perhaps that's not the only thing that can be done, especially for businesses where you can't have a fault, especially in financial services. So Manish, it's been amazing to chat with you, and we look forward to having you back on Uncaged.
Thank you, Ben. It was absolutely a pleasure. Thank you so
Cheers.
much. Yes.